I'm surprised you haven't brought up the fact I listened to Joseph Stalin.
Yeah, you did. So we were on the cycle and
Wait,
it was
what?
very tough. And Chris, for the first 2 days, was very like, "Hey guys, what's up?" And then, and then I think it got so difficult. It was very tough. It was so much harder than Hokkaido.
Yeah, and there was a lot of rain.
There was a lot of rain. It was miserable. And then after we had the third and fourth days were just hell. And then after that, Chris was like a hikikomori on his Stalin audiobooks. It was like we didn't hear from Chris for the next 4 days. He would just cycle, and then occasionally, apparently, because his phone was connected to the car, when he would cycle closely to the car, the Stalin audiobook would start playing in the car. And it would be like, be put on Pete's steam. He'd be like, "Oh, what? So guys, we're gonna go," and he'd be like, "Stalin murdered 15,000 people because they dropped his handkerchief on the floor," and it was just like, what is he doing? What is motivating this man to cycle? What is his reason?
I was listening to Stalin's toils and ups and downs. I thought,
why was that you want to listen to on the cycle?
Because like for most of his life, Stalin was like living in.
Well, what made you want to listen to all of this on the Cyclethon?
I thought he's had a rough time. Well, I'm making Stalin sound nice.
He's had a rough time.
He had a rough time.
Before he became the undisputed fucking paramount leader of Russia, he was in like prison camps in Siberia for 20 years.
All right.
And I was listening to that thinking, if he could do that, I can get through today's cycle. That's like my thought process. But then it just got really bleak because by the second half of the book, when he becomes powerful, he's just like, if his friend says something he doesn't like, he's like, yeah, haven't killed. And it's just like, hasn't killed. And it's like, Stalin killed his friend, David. And like every fucking page, one of his friends is just being sent off to a concentration camp or whatever.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just like, this isn't fun. But it's still more fun than this fucking cycle.
You didn't like it?
The weather was bad.
The weather was
The
really
terrain
bad.
was brutal. Like the Hokkaido cycle. If you ever want to cycle for a week, do Hokkaido. Like,
It was great.
Yeah.
beautiful city. It was tough.
We had,
but
like,
the scenery
one
was
hill.
stunning. We did have like.
I remember we made such a big fuss
We
about this
did.
hill in Hokkaido. And to be fair, it was tough. It
We
was
had to
like,
get
it was
off.
like a 300-meter incline. And then in Kyushu, we regularly had 400 or 500 meters, and we had a 700 one day. And when you check back the video of this one hill that never ends. It's like we were walking for 40 minutes on a vertical hill, basically.
I remember, yeah.
I remember that hill so distinctly because it just never ended. And that was pain. That was true suffering.
But not as bad as Stalin and his people.
But yeah, not as bad as what Stalin did.
No. But that was why I listened to that, I think. I needed to get through it.
That was your
I need to
motivator.
take my mind somewhere. I don't know what to listen to. What would you listen to, Garn? if
Not
you did-
a fucking Stalin audio
fucking
book.
text-to-speech, losing my mind.
I needed something.
I need some. I don't know. I had a playlist of songs I would listen to before I went on stage just to hype me up.
Yeah.
Like a lot of like Carpenter Brute just to be like, let's just get the adrenaline running.
Yeah.
You know.
I started every day's cycle with listening to music. The one song I always used was Boogie Wonderland by Earth, Wind and Fire. It's like dun 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 dun.
It does hype you up. It does hype you up.
That is the start of a great day.
And I'm like, yeah, it's so happy now. And then
Yeah, there was a
felt
buffer
crap.
window. He did not interact with Chris for the first 2 hours of the morning until he's fully woken up.
I need the whole Earth, Wind and Fire album
Yeah.
to get through the fucking cycle.
It was such
Boogie
a-
Wonderland is the song.
Boogie Wonderland is a great
That's a
song.
good track,
It was a tough cycle. It was a tough one. I think we'll definitely change some things for the next one.
Yeah.
Like e-bikes.
E-bike,
car.
teleportation.
A motorbike.
Just get a moped.
Just get a moped, yeah.
No, it was
Moped.
kind of fucked because like we picked a time where it like didn't rain much, and it was we just got fucked by some weird rainstorm that come from the south.
It was horrific.
It was horrible that one day.
Because you're hot and sweating like this temperature now, but you've got rain mixing with the sweat. So you feel like
Yeah.
you're drowning, especially when you've got your gear on, you're cycling.
That
Yeah.
third day,
You
I
have to
remember,
really
yeah.
go to a very special place to get through that. You have to take your
Only
mind elsewhere.
Stalin can get.
Dude, I had
a Stalin Siberian
Navy
wasteland.
SEAL people donating me like, yes, this reminds me of my Navy SEAL training. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm just trying to cycle. He's like, yeah, it feels awful, but you have to just keep going. And I was like, oh my God.
You know what got me through a Stalin audiobook?
Shit, because there's no part of your body that's comfortable in that. It was like, because when it
And
drizzles.
you fell off twice,
I fell off twice as well. That was just miserable.
and that looked painful.
Yeah, my leg was all fucked
And I had to
up.
cheer you
and-
up one day, and
Well,
everyone
that
was
was
like,
the day, yeah.
Chris is so nice, he's cheering Connor up.
Because I was miserable.
'Cause
I
he, like-
just wanted to stop.
Yeah, you looked like you were going to stop or just implode.
Well, because like I think any sane person doing that who wasn't on camera would just call it a day there. And I think any of us just wouldn't. You'd see that level of rain, and you'd be like, no, well, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
Because it was the kind of rain where, if it drizzles or it rains normally, you get a little bit wet. Maybe your hair gets wet, your clothes get a little bit damp. but your shoes aren't like waterlogged, and you're not like soaked, and because you're moving and it's constantly there. But that was the kind of rain where I remember this so distinctly. There was this bridge that we started. Do you remember this bridge? It's a really long bridge, about 1 kilometer long, and I remember we started because it's the start of the bridge was the start, and by the end of this bridge, I was completely soaked. My feet were soaked. They were fully like waterlogged.
Yeah, you get that's the worst thing. Your
every
feet wet,
single part of the body was soaked.
It was 10 minutes in. It was already like your feet's in the River Thames.
And then your glasses, you can't fucking see anything because you got water on your glasses, or it's just like everything's miserable. And then the worst part, I don't know if you remember this, but I got really cold. I started getting really, really cold towards the end of the day, and to the point where I was like shivering for like the past 2 hours, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Because I can't get warm. Because to get warm, I need to dry. And then what's the point drying when I'm going to cycle?
You threatened to piss yourself to get warm.
I was actually this close away from pissing myself because I was so cold.
Right.
And it was to the point where I thought I was cold, where I was like, I think I would have bad health consequences if I was out for like another 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I think we had 20 kilometers left where I was really feeling faint. I was like, let's just do it. Let's just finish this. And I'm being in McDonald's.
I thought you meant let's just piss yourself.
Honestly,
I'm done.
I was desperate because I was like, I got to do something. And I remember being in the McDonald's afterwards, just depressed because I was still, obviously, even when you've been cold for like a few hours, even if you change clothes and get warm, it's kind of weird. Your body doesn't quite heat up as fast.
Yeah, you're like kind of cold to the bones.
Yeah, so it was kind of weird because I was just in this McDonald's feeling like shit, and then I was just. But Chris was full of joy because Chris said,
I
remember the menu came out and you were like, well, it was a good day. It wasn't that bad that day. And I was like, and I just felt like shit because we were also at McDonald's.
And you got the wrong burger.
And then they fucked up my order. And that was the last day. But they also fucked up my order that day as well. It was not a good streak of McDonald's.
I can't hear. It's like a Christopher Nolan film. What is he saying?
Yeah, I ordered on the fucking app. But yeah, that was a grueling one. I think we're going to change a few things for the next one.
These are the moments that define the year.
It's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
Dying in a
I'll never forget
fucking chest
that
boxing
fucking
or,
cycle.
I don't know.
Suffering is what you remember a lot.
Well, it's got like type 2 fun, right?
Type 2 fun.
Yeah,
It's fun where you look back on.
When you look back on
fun
it.
in the moment. It's not fun in the moment, but then when you look back on it, you're like, that was fun.
Who named it Type 2?
I don't know.
That's quite good. I like that.
Type 2.
Because it's easy to look back
Sounds
on
like
something.
an affliction.
Well, yeah, but
He's got Type 2 fun.
how often have you done something that you remember distinctly was shit, right? And then you look back on it and you're like, that was fun. You're like, no, Connor, don't lull yourself into thinking that was fun. That was not fun.
That was not fun.
The idea of it again was fun, and the highlights were fun, but it was shit.
Yeah.
I can just see you on your cycle, like next cyclethon. It's like, I'm having such type 2 fun right now.
Fucking hell.
I mean, it was all worth it to see Pete on a bike for 3
5
minutes.
seconds.
Yes.
I can do it. I believe.
That was so good.
Did well for the.
He cycled
1
like
minute
10
he was on it.
kilometers,
10
which
kilometers.
is pretty good. 10
Nice.
kilometers less I didn't need to do, so I was very happy.
Yeah, life just a bunch of memories.
It is.
Yeah. The week.